Last time on Dragon Ball Z.
Bubbles, punch the monkey! All these squares make a circle! My friends are in danger, my friends are in danger. There's a boy on the ledge. There's someone shot in the background. After everything you've been told and everything you know, you're just gonna sit there and do nothing. Go, Goku! You have somewhere you need to be. Regardless, hey guys, SaxDude26 here, and welcome back to Let's Play Dragon Ball Z, the Legacy of Goku. Last time we made it to the end of Snake Way, and we met King Kai. And yes, he can talk to us telepathically. As great as his training was for us, he did try to cap it off by reteaching us a move that we learnt last game from Master Roshi. You didn't invent the Kamehameha wave, King Kai. First Kamehameha of the game. Regardless, our friends then wished us back with the Dragon Balls. We came back to Earth, and then got distracted by side quests. I mean, it's good that we broke up that robbery, but we probably didn't need to get involved. Regardless, I would advise while you're here in the Northern Army's restricted area, go over and talk to the nurse. On proximity to her, your health will start refilling, but it's good to talk to her to make sure you're close enough. And also destroy all of the breakable blocks and make sure that your herbs are at full supply. You do not want to go into the next area not on full supply of items. Good thing I checked. I did not realize I was short of full. Good, I do have 6. Lovely. But yeah, you want to make sure you're fully kitted out to whatever you're comfortable with before going out here to the canyon. This is a big issue, and our friends have been fighting for ages, so I'm kind of concerned that there's only Gohan and Krillin left. Yeah, that means that Yamcha, Yajirobe, Tien, Chiaotzu, and Piccolo have all perished at the hands of the Saiyans. Thank you for reiterating that, Krillin. Not only that, but Gohan's also wearing a training garb, because for the last year, Piccolo has been training him to fight. Although Chi-Chi wants him to become an academic, Piccolo, out of respect for Goku as an equal fighter, took on Gohan under his wing to train him for the Saiyan invasion. Granted, without consulting Chi-Chi, but still, he acted as a very solid father figure for Gohan while Goku wasn't here. That is what makes Piccolo Jr. 10 times a better person than King Piccolo. Kami's not convinced, but that's a story for another day. Regardless, the two Saiyans here, they've been facing off against our friends, or at least, the bald one has been. Vegeta here has just been sitting back and watching Nappa pick them off one by one. So, I guess that means we have to be fighting Nappa first. So, this is Kakarot, eh? Doesn't look too tough to me. Hilariously derailing one-liner. I sense Kakarot's power has grown since Raditz was here. You should still be able to handle him easily though, Nappa. Bah! I'll crush the little traitor, Vegeta! Vegeta! I'll crush the little traitor! Nappa is basically a buffed up version of Raditz. He can run much faster, he attacks with energy far more frequently, but the basic strategy used for Raditz is the same. You want to keep your distance, Solar Flare, punch, make sure you're not doing it too close to when he uses Energy Blast or too close to the last punch you throw him, and just lather, rinse, repeat. The canyon you're fighting in is considerably bigger than the impact crater where you fought Raditz, so you've at least got that working in your favor. Plus, you've got 15 flight charges by now, if you're level 10. So it means you've got a whole lot more agility to work with, and it also means, from a power perspective, dealing with Nappa is going to be a lot... Ugh, that was too quick. Dealing with Nappa is going to be a lot easier than... Get away from my son! Fight me like a bald man. Jeez. But yeah, fighting Nappa is going to be kind of on par with fighting Raditz, just kind of equivalent to your level 10 skills at this point. But regardless, I wouldn't advise using the Kamehameha wave just because he does charge his energy pretty quickly. But the good thing is you can just like be on the side and then try and launch it and guide him into the shot. It's the only real strategy I found works with bosses for using the Kamehameha wave. It's not the most reliable, so apologies if it feels like I've abandoned the attack since the last part. I might try and use it then and again. There we go. You've really got to try and guide him into where it's going to be. And even then, if you use it too much, you're not going to have enough energy to really make it worthwhile. But there we go. Nappa is done and we got 2,000 experience points. That gets us to level 11. Fantastic. Time to deal with Vegeta. Oh, we're nothing compared to the Prince of all Saiyans. Well, you fail to realize that my power level is over 9,000. Actually, what is it? Okay, my key level is at 3,051. But it might... Oh yeah, it is refilling. Good. I'll need to check that for the sake of the reference. Vegeta is pretty much the same as Nappa in terms of what he can do. He can shoot energy blasts, he can chase after you, he can punch, and he's a lot faster than Raditz was. But the big difference, his energy blasts are blue, and sometimes he likes to just turn around and shoot it without charging. Vegeta is very dangerous and very fast. He might look like a carbon copy of the fight you've just gone through, but he will recover from hits and basically go straight into attack. You do not want to take Vegeta lightly based on the fact of how Nappa fights. No, that's not an energy attack. This is! That was not smart and I did not hit the R key. That's a bit of a problem. But yeah, Vegeta everybody, he's fun. Go you into doing an energy attack. There we go. Yes! I must confess, you're stronger than I gave you credit for. But enough is enough! Then Vegeta enters his second form, and he starts shooting off those quick energy blasts I mentioned. That's right, he does it per form, so I'm gonna heal for that. Now, the way you tell the two forms apart is now he has shoulder pads on his armor. Technically, that's the way his armor was meant to look when he got here, but it's kind of the only real way they can make the two phases of the fight distinguishable, so I appreciate that at least. But yeah, dinky little difference. And he's going to be unpredictable with his energy shots. I would advise be very aware and keep your distance from him more than ever. Because now when you walk left and right, there is a high chance of him basically just being like, follow, 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 follow. You going to attack the civilians or something? What is wrong with you, Vegeta? 1 minute you've got an army separate... Oh, damn it. No, 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 no. Okay, come on. Okay, come on. Okay, come on. No, 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 no. Jeez. He is not playing around. This is what makes Vegeta probably the most threatening opponent you can face at this point in the game. There are going to be opponents that come up later that play way less dodgy stuff compared to him. That quick energy blast thing is a big issue. He's blocking a lot of attacks. This is becoming problematic. Oh no, that's not good. Herbs aplenty. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Okay. Always good to know. Really? That was a block as well? That's gotta mean he's doing a quick shot soon, I would imagine. Is that what you're alluding to, mister? Yes, it is. I have to assume it is, because literally there was no wind-up to that attack whatsoever. He is eating through my herbs right now. This is ridiculous. Okay. Come on. Come on and fight me like a Saiyan! Jeez. But yeah, you may remember last part I was talking about the fact that Goku learned two very important moves from King Kai. The really important one is the one he would be using during this fight, the Spirit Bomb. When you use the Spirit Bomb, you call on the energy of the plant, the earth itself, the people of it, and you gather it all together in a gigantic energy grenade. Based on how many living things you draw energy from, that can increase the size. Goku was pretty on par with Vegeta even when using the Kaioken ability. And the only way he was able to defeat him in the anime was a combined use of Krillin's help and the Spirit Bomb. Oh, and one other thing that's very important happening right now. Vegeta alludes to the fact that we don't have our tail anymore. You may remember I mentioned a lot in the episode 0 that I was meant to be a monkey. A Saiyan who has their tail at the side of the full moon turns into the Ozaru, which turns them into a giant monkey and exponentially makes them run off pure instinct. When they invade planets, that is how they fight. They wait for a full moon and they invade the planet. Oh look! Yajirobe was alive! And he just cut off Vegeta's tail. That is the only way you can stop an Ozaru, either to wait for the moon to leave, or to cut off a Saiyan's tail. That is how Goku no longer turns into the Great Ape. But because it was more important how it got removed, they never included it in Advanced Adventure at all. On top of things, you gotta remember, Goku's son, he had a tail as well. And because Vegeta can't really fend off against an Ozaru, Gohan took that opportunity to look at the energy ball that Vegeta threw in the sky and turn into a giant monkey. We saw his clothes rip though, and now they're still back on, so yeah, I can only be critical to some extent. But in spite of everything that happened, Vegeta killing all of our friends, and attacking Gohan, and Gohan beating the crud out of him, and him still trying to murder everybody, we let him go scot-free. Idiot mistake number 1! And that's when we hear about the Namekian Dragon Balls. But we're not meant to hear them from Vegeta, we're meant to hear it from Mr. Popo, because he brings it up when we mention the fact that the Earth Dragon Balls are no longer present, because Piccolo was killed before we got there, meaning that Kami died literally just after we left the lookout, meaning there are no Earth Dragon Balls and we need to go to a different planet. There are a lot of gaps here, and Goku just mentioned a hospital. I should really clarify what on earth is going on. The Dragon Balls are Namek, so there is so much plot that is cut out here. I am sorry if it feels like I'm rushing through, because there is a lot of stuff that happens. So let me try and break it down as best I can. Bear with me. After this battle was happened, Goku has to get a hospital to recover properly, because even though he came here with Zenzu Beans, he gave to everyone else so they could heal. At the haste, he needs to take slow route healing away from the healing away from Zenzu Beans. Mr. Popo specifically lets them know that the Dragon Balls need to be revived, and the only way to do that is switch back Piccolo and Kami using the Namekian Dragon Balls, because it's revealed they're not actually demons. Piccolo and Kami are actually Namekians from the planet Namek. That is where the Dragon Balls originate. If Bulma, Krillin, and Gohan then set off with the Namekian ships to head to Namek to look for the Dragon Balls so they can win back Piccolo and Kami. Once the Earth Dragon Balls come back, they can win back everyone else on Earth, or use the Namekian Dragon Balls to win back the people who have been killed before. Because look at the Dragon Balls are native to Namek, meaning the Dragon is much more powerful. Goku heads to West City in Capsule Corp, warms up the breeze, creates a capsule ship so that Goku can fly to Namek to join them, and help them out in any way possible. Cool, we're good. Alright, lovely. So, fully recovered, Zenzu Beans in tow, we arrive on planet Namek to rejoin our friends, but something awful has happened before we arrived. The entire planet has been ravaged, the people, the Namekians, have been traumatized, and all of the plant life has been torn asunder. There are saplings all over the planet that could help to revive the ecosystem that this Namekian wants us to try and recover. So this is our first side quest arriving here. It's giving us a little bit more insight into the fact that there's obviously a bigger power at work than just Vegeta. Someone else wants the Dragon Balls. Frieza! He has come here with an army bringing death and destruction. And he's definitely not going after the Dragon Balls a peaceful way. There's obviously a pretty clear connection between Frieza and Vegeta. They both want immortality. This Namekian isn't really caring about the damage, he's mostly just worried about the temple, which is north of here and represents planet Namek's elder, Guru, who is effectively the homeworld's equivalent of Kami. So, yeah, Guru in the anime and manga is alive, but in the space of Legacy of Goku just is sort of an idea, an image that gives the Namekians hope, and, you know, promotes peacefulness amongst them. And he's hilarious and you will quote everything he says. This guy is one of many of the problems. This is one of Frieza's forces, and as you're immediately going to notice, he's wearing the same armor that Vegeta, Nappa, and Raditz were. The Saiyans were taken on as part of Frieza's elite army. They wear the same armor because they work for him. Specifically, Goku, Raditz, Nappa, and Vegeta. Whoa! Forgot how much damage they do. Nappa, Raditz, Vegeta, and Goku are the last 4 remaining Saiyans. Kind of. We'll get to the semantics of that in a bit. But the rest of his army are just made up of random wolves, bears, crocodiles, lizards, anyone who will fit into the armor and do his dirty work for him. They are the most difficult enemies to deal with in the game, and they are everywhere. Only me and my older brother are left. Oh, that's right! Cameo of Dende! Dende is the younger brother, or sort of younger brother figure, to Nail in Dragon Ball Z. He is a pretty important recurring character that doesn't hold as much importance in Legacy of Goku, because it doesn't go anywhere, but he illustrates the very important thing of there are 2 types of Namekians. There's the warrior class, which kind of relates more to Piccolo and King Piccolo and Dende's older brother Nail, and then there's the healer class, the mystic class, which is people like Kami and Dende. They heal rather than fighting. They're still versed in fighting abilities, but their strength comes from their mystic innate healing abilities more than anything else. They're basically the white mages. That's the best way of thinking of them. Dende is a lot more important in Legacy of Goku 2 and 3, but yeah. We found a sapling in amongst our travels. Also, I need to note that a lot of the Namekian houses have been sealed shut by energy attacks, so we can't go in and check on everyone. But having your flight charges up and full here is very important, especially for exploration. Also, it'd be a good idea if I fill in as many of my herbs as possible. Another thing you're going to notice, a common native to planet Namek from planet Earth is the dinosaurs. That's just a recurring thing in the world of Dragon Ball, is that dinosaurs and people exist in the same time period. So, they've got the strongest enemies from planet Earth, and the new strongest enemies in the form of Frieza's army. So you're going to do a lot of level grinding while you're on planet Namek. I suggest you take every opportunity you can to do exactly that. Grind as much as you can and get to max level, which, in the case of this game, is actually level 25. So we're not doing too bad. Dealing with pterodactyls, way easier than when it was in episode 2. I'm pretty sure they die in like 3 punches now, roughly. If the punch would actually connect, that'd be great so I can make my point. No, apparently not. 4 punches, regardless. Okay, but fighting the Frieza forces is probably your best way of getting experience. You want to space out your attacks as much as possible, and it's basically like fighting a mini Raditz. They chase after you, they're pretty fast, and they shoot energy blasts. Nothing will be ever as annoying as Vegeta's quick blue energy blasts, though. That will go down as the most frustrating thing in Legacy of Goku. There's another young Namekian here who doesn't want us to hurt them because we've got crazy, wacky hair, and we're wearing strange clothes, so understandably he's scared. But at least we're not wearing Saiyan armor! Also, very important thing that I only really touched on, but didn't really discuss, is something that Raditz and Vegeta and Nappa all had on them that every one of Frieza's forces has. The Scouters. You may notice their eye is covered up by a coloured window. It'll either be green, blue, or red. That is a Scouter. That is the way that they read power levels. That is the way they can tell how powerful something is and also follow energy sources. And later on, it gets upgraded so that they can factor in DragonBall location to basically make it like Bulma's Dragon Radar from Dragon Ball. It's pretty irritating, and they really don't get used to measure power levels past this, but the Scouter is an overarching element in Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z that is pretty important and will come back. It'll be a much more important thing in Legacy of Goku 2, and a mechanic that I actually quite fond of, because it's effectively the way the bestiary works, because it also keeps a library of things you've scanned, which is pretty cool. I love how they introduce the concept of the Scouter, though, in the anime, because Bulma actually takes Raditz's Scouter, turns off the signal that's beaming off to Vegeta and Nappa, and then she basically uses it to play around with reading power levels. Then, as you may remember during my fight with Vegeta, I mentioned, okay, our power level is under 6,000. Never mind then. Okay, because I was going to make the reference of, in the anime, there's, whatever. It helps you see power levels, but power levels are kind of nonsense, because how do you really assess a power level? Is it your ki? Is it your strength? Is it how much energy damage you do? Is it how much health you have? Is it what level you are? Is it how much HP you have? It's a very vague measure of strength that isn't really clarified much more, not even in the later games. So it's very arbitrary at best. But yeah, Scouters are a thing. When Goku was fighting Nappa and Vegeta, he actually blew theirs up, which is kind of fantastic and meme-worthy, and I love it. But yeah, after Frieza's forces, the Scouters kind of stopped being used to really evaluate how strong someone is, but they're a pretty iconic thing in the Dragon Ball Z universe. So I do like their aesthetic and the concept of them. Dealing with these forces a little bit better. You really shouldn't be wearing a green Scouter on green skin, I can barely see it. There we go, that's what I wanted. Much better. The Kamehameha on the wave's getting a lot stronger now that I'm actually getting some decent experience in. And that's something you're going to notice will improve on Namek, as the energy attacks get stronger, your overall dexterity and ability to fight gets better. Your endurance doesn't change too much, you're mostly just getting more health, but clear out every area in Namek before you go to the next one. There is a lot of nonsense going on here and a lot of houses you can go into, but I would suggest every time you go into a house, still clear out the area of everyone, because the more you can level up, the better. I don't think I actually tend to go to the next area in my own playthroughs before I hit level 14. So I might actually be getting ahead of myself on this playthrough if I go there at this level. Regardless, I think that's the last supplement we need together? Yeah, we're level 14, fantastic. There we go, I think there are only 3 trees that we needed together, so hopefully that should be us done for that now. 2 punches for a pterodactyl, lovely. So now we should be able to go back down here and plant those saplings. I will deal with you though. Thank you. And one more punch. Yeah, second sapling. Okay, cool. So we've got these planting spots for the saplings. Best to go over the top and just press A. Second one there. And then the last one's here. We got a decent amount of experience. We're already level 14, so we're making some pretty decent headway here. And yeah, all the people are sacred structures, but at least the temple's apparently still standing. So, now the best course of action is to go to the next area and see how that temple's doing. Unaware of the location of his friend, Goku presses on through Namek against Frieza's forces. Will he find them in time?
Find out in the next exciting episode of Dragon Ball Z.